I am primarily a bottom, but for a long time, like, I didn't even consider that there could be any alternative to that because of how small I am. It's like this thing that gets you disqualified before you even start in some places.
It's like whoever I am, that won't matter because I won't even get to show you the resume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Are you ready for the Unleashed Tour, where shamelessness, sexiness, and laughter collide in a hilarious orgy of fun, discovery, and sex edutainment? Embark on a captivating nationwide journey with the Shameless Sex Podcast and an electrifying ensemble of sex educators and sex-positive entertainers as they bring you an unforgettably titillating live experience. Be a part of mesmerizing, entertaining, boundary-pushing acts, shameless sex style. Ever heard of the Slurpee stick shift? Want to learn how to bury your face in her? How about some dirty talk improv or brat taming 101?
Get ready for nonstop laughter as our charismatic hosts and entertainers weave humor into the fabric of this liberating celebration of sexual diversity and freedom. Engage in interactive segments, Q&A sessions, and a chance to connect with like-minded individuals in an inclusive and empowering environment. Listen up, Portland, Chicago, Seattle, we're coming to you. For more information and to get your tickets right now, go to shamelesssex.com and be part of a night that will be fun, educational, sexy, hilarious, and shamelessly unforgettable. Seats are filling up fast, so don't miss out on the most unforgettable show of the year.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than, hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to the twunks, the hunks, and otters who played the funk. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the show. If you're new, hey, welcome back. If you're not, this week on the pod, I have got on actor and content creator. Not that kind of content, like funny videos, funny man on the internet, nail design extraordinaire, Ben Yahr. Going to share my conversation with him in just a little bit, but first, I gotta put gloves on because it's too hot of a movie night. This Thursday, aka tomorrow night if you're listening to this on time, aka yesterday if you're late on this, whenever you're hearing this, June 20th, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, we are coming together in the Champagne Room to watch The Private Afternoons of Pamela Mann. This is a 1974 porno, and we're going to watch it and mock it and commentate, but only during the sex scenes. I want to be able to follow the dialogue. Yes, you do need to be in the Discord server, but also, more importantly, is you need to be a member of my Patreon to gain access to this special event. But don't worry, membership begins at just $3 a month. It's so cheap. You don't got $3? I bet it's stuffed in your pocket right now. Between your left pocket and like the cup holder, that one cup holder with all the change in it in your car, yeah, you got $3. Give it to me. Give me your $3. I fucking want it. And then you can come watch porn with me and a bunch of funny people. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, Patreon, yes, .com, / are you doing it? Manwhore pod. I'm not going to spell it out. Cast. You should be on the page by now setting that up. And then afterwards, you can join us in the Discord server. Link to that in the schnotes or at manwhorepod.com. One person I hope will be joining us for Hot Movie Night is this week's Fan Whore Appreciation Moment, William Downs. Baby Cakes, I've been in Astoria doing stand-up like 4 times in the last month. That's like 4 out of the 5 times I've been to Astoria this year. I hope you've come out to one of those shows, Baby Cakes. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for supporting the pod. I hope to see or hear you tomorrow at Hot Movie Night. So when you match with somebody on one of the apps and you start to talking and the flirting, I'm a big fan of let's meet up quick. After a few messages, after we establish enough rapport that it's like, okay, we should probably meet, let's get something on the books. Because if you start texting and flirting and chatting for too long, something trails off, someone loses interest, or possibly worse. You build up, you're building up anticipation, you're building up the texting rapport, you're building up flirting via text. You get used to, you get accustomed to how this person texts, maybe how they send a voice memo. You build up a very specific virtual rhythm, and then sometimes weeks or over a month later, you finally meet up. Their in-person rhythm is completely different. The connection, the chemistry between you two as real fucking human beings is so different from what you built up virtually that's like, it's a letdown, but it's hard to pull away from that letdown because you've got all this emotional investment. You've been talking to this person for weeks or maybe months before actually meeting up because you fucking, and sometimes that happens. Let's find out soon. I don't need to know if we work as texters. I want to know if we work in person as human beings, as lovers, as potential romantic interests. I find that out here on this podcast. What I like to do here is have sex positive conversations with the guest, ideally about themselves, talk about sex, dating, gender, love, sometimes butt stuff. And it's very often the case that I don't know these people super personally, but sometimes we have a little bit of an online rapport. Sometimes we've done some DMs here and there. Sometimes I've just seen a lot of their content, their written textual content. And I've built up a certain image, idea of who this person is. Maybe our online chemistry is one way. And then we get on the couch. I mean, they get on the couch. I sit from like a respectful distance in my office chair, some feet away. But sometimes we get into the room and we sit down to do this, and they're like a different person. Our chemistry is not the same as the perceived connection I built up through our online interactions over the course of months or years. I think that's kind of what happened with this week's guest, Ben Yahr, who is super, super funny. I've been following him on Twitter for a good long while at this point. And I was so surprised that when we met up in person, a little bit more reserved of a fella. I don't really prepare too much. Like I might go listen to them on another podcast, especially if like a publicist sent them my way. I might poke around at things to know what's out there, but I'm really just looking for what I'm sincerely curious about. I don't write down 9 questions for the guest. I really just like to hit record and see where the conversation takes us, see where the chemistry takes us. And sometimes the chemistry, we don't really find it. It doesn't mean the episode's necessarily bad. It just means like we learned interesting things about the guest, and we also could hear that these two like couldn't be on a date together. I kind of think that's what happened here. But the closest I felt like we could get to connecting was on a the shared issue of body image, love of wanting others to sexualize us for what we look like, not necessarily for our personalities. And Ben, I thought of Ben to do the show because like just he puts out a lot of thirst traps, a lot of throwing the donk out there, a lot of being, I don't know if I should say horny on main or sexy on main, but the dude's like, hey, I want to show you my body when I'm not making you laugh. And I feel like that's normally not like a comedian, funny man thing to do. Ben stuck out to me in that way. And I thought, I don't know, let's talk to the guy. So, it's a little clunky at times. I feel like you can pick up that we're two people who don't really know each other. But I hope you all got to know Ben better. It was nice to finally meet him. Slight audio engineering note. It was a very hot day. I am Folks, when it gets to be 80 degrees outside, that air conditioner's going on. There's not really much I can do to remove it, and we're not going to sweat through that for you. I'm sorry. It's a free podcast. Free podcast means during the summer, sometimes you might hear the soft song, the soft serenade of an LG 8000 BTU air conditioning unit. So if you think like, is there something wrong with my headphones? Is there a thing? It's like, am I hearing a buzz? No, you don't have tinnitus. I mean, you might, but that's just the air conditioner. Sorry, but like honestly, not sorry at all. Ben and I were already having enough of a time trying to find a comfort with each other. The last thing we needed to do was share a vulnerability of sweating. Okay, babes. Okay, love. Okay, boo-boos. Let's go chat with Ben Yahr. Enjoy ad-free episodes at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast.
I've never met anyone that changed their last name, like to gay people when they got married. I'm sure it exists somewhere. Someone has to have done it.
Well, probably if you had like a really unfortunate maiden.
Yeah, exactly. If your last name was super embarrassing, then like great.
You're like, I'm just looking for an excuse. I didn't even really
I'll
want to
marry
get married.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't let me change it without it.
Yeah.
Okay. And wait, when was the wedding?
We got married in October 2022. So yeah, because then we had our first year anniversary party, October 2023.
Okay. That's a big fucking that's a shiny ring.
Thanks. I designed it.
You did?
Yes.
What goes into designing the ring?
I mean, I'm just like at my core something of a princess, and like always knew exactly what I wanted my engagement ring to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always just been like kind of fixated on, I don't know, the sparkly, shiny things. You can tell by my nails.
Well, yeah.
You know, when I was little, like costume jewelry and like anything, I was always super, I don't know, curious and fascinated by my mom's jewelry and like anything like that. I was always from such a young age.
And you always wanted to get
excited
married.
about. Yeah. I mean, that was definitely something I always planned on. The way my ring looks was never going to be left to chance. I was like, I know exactly what I want. I'm going to choose all the things. And then we met with like a jewelry designer who was like a friend of a friend, and we designed it together, you know, she and I. And then once it was all picked, I said to my husband, like, okay, it's out of my hands now. It's between you guys. I don't need to know anything else now. So like, it will still be a surprise when you know.
What elements of the ring is like the surprise?
Oh, nothing on the ring itself was a surprise. I just meant like when he proposes.
That's in proposal culture. That's the part I can't get on board with. Like, I feel like you should have talked about marriage, but I don't feel like it should have been like, we have agreed, if we're going to do a proposal, I feel like there should still be like 5 to 7% chance they could say no.
I mean,
Otherwise,
I disagree.
Where's the courage? I don't know.
I think the courage is making the decision together, like that you're going to spend the rest of your lives together.
Right, but then at that point, why do we have to do it like a public surprise thing?
For me, it was more like
public surprise. Like, I cry during like public choreographed wedding proposals. You ever seen Isaac's proposal?
the flash mobs and all those.
It's the gold standard of Isaac's proposal is the gold standard of public choreographed wedding proposals. She's in the back of the van. He got like his whole block to do his big dance.
Of course, I remember.
Sings "To Marry You."
Yeah. No, it was never going to be like a public thing. Like my husband's like kind of shy, so I knew it was going to be something like just the two of us.
Okay. How do you do it?
So it was actually not as much a surprise as I'm trying to make it sound like, because I told him I had to have like a little bit of forewarning because I wanted my nails to look really good. So basically,
range.
Exactly. So basically, he was like, "You should like have your nails the way you want them, you know, like at the end of next week or like the end of this, whenever it was." So I knew it was like potentially going to happen like a certain weekend, and then we were driving up to the Catskills because we were gonna we got a house with some friends, and he made some unexpected detour there was like some sign for a waterfall, and he was like, "Oh, what's that? I want to go look at that."
He proposed to you under a waterfall?
Not under the waterfall, but we were next to it.
You had a nice view.
It was a nice view. Exactly.
It was pretty. It was a beautiful sight.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's sweet. And then you went off to go hang out with the friends.
Yeah, it was because like we got engaged,
and you go to the friends, and now you get those. Yeah, you just get to show up. Look, everybody! Look what happened.
Perfect.
Look what happened.
Yeah,
They're like,
that's exactly
"Bitch,
right.
We know. We know. We're all in a group chat."
Yeah, that's basically how it went. It was just me showing everybody my ring and taking pictures, and yeah, it was really lovely.
It's kind of how my sister got proposed to, where like she thought she was going to like a friend hangout weekend in NorCal, and then like we all had to go. Like I had to fly to California just to like go to the proposal part. I didn't even get to see the proposal, but like he pulls a detour. And it's like, oh no, I got to check the gas pressure or something like that, and then doesn't. So then when she gets there, it's like, yeah, she knows there's going to be a party. She just didn't know it was a party with her with a big rock on her ring, on her finger. Right. I mean, my other sister got proposed to in Rhode Island. No one's attached to Rhode Island, by the way. There's no attachment to Rhode Island. I don't understand why there's like a vague 3-degree separation to where we had to go. But like, he's not from Rhode Island. She's not from Rhode Island. No one went to school in Rhode Island. And so I had to take a whole day to like quietly drive to Rhode Island and go to this place. And all my job was to like pop out at a point and say, "Oh my God, you got proposed to." We had a dinner, and then I went to bed, and then I had to drive 4 or 5 hours back down here. I was like, it feels, but everybody had to drive down here, and everyone had to drive up there.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
No offense to Rhode Island, but that's not something you hear very often. Like, unless someone has a connection to there, you don't usually just end up there.
Yeah, and my dad almost fucked up the whole thing because like the little inn or whatever he was at. My dad I'm my father's son. His license plate says Presida. So he didn't. They told him park away because you have a very recognizable fucking car. But I was like, you could have spoiled the entire thing. Be like, why is Dad up here? Because none of us are from Rhode Island. Right. Why would we be up here in this very cinematic view with a lighthouse? So,
well, I'm glad he didn't ruin it.
Yeah, I want to be proposed to.
Do you?
I don't need to be married. If I don't get proposed to, it's like I want to be with the type of woman who would propose to me. Gosh, if she got some people to do some flash mob shit, she made like a scene out of it, I would be like, ow.
It seems like that you kind of do want that.
I do want that, but like it's a grand romantic gesture. I like a grand romantic gesture. And I like a woman who doesn't think it has to only come from the guy. And any type of woman I'm going to be with long term is into some sort of gendered expectations and stuff. Otherwise, how on earth is she ever going to finger me, right? She's not going to be able to do that if she's tied to that concept. So
for sure. Well, yeah. I mean, that's sort of a litmus test right there. Like that you would, you know what I mean? Like you'd cross that bridge pretty early.
Will she do it?
If you do that, if you get that out of the way early enough, then you're not going to waste your time. You know?
Yeah. I think grand romantic gesture would be nice. If I had to do the proposal, I would probably do it also in an embarrassingly public, some sort of way, not in Rhode Island, but you know.
What if you had to choose between a girl that will finger you or a girl that will do public gestures?
That's a great question. I can, you know what, there's other things we can do back there. You know, it's like, there's plugs, there's things. I can just put it in my, it's fine. I'm non-monogamous, so it's like, I can have a fingering sex partner on the side. It's
right.
And it's a good time to say, I'm here right now with Ben Yahr, who is now, am I using the term right? Twunky?
I would never call myself that.
What would you call yourself?
I mean, I'm pretty thick. I consider myself closer to like a bear or a cub.
Really?
Yeah.
I always associate bears like even like way bigger than even me. Although I feel like the scale is telling me.
Well, yeah. Close. I mean, I feel like most people maybe would call me a cub.
Okay. In my culture, cub fucks Susan Sarandon. And I was like, that's weird. I prefer the term poacher. You know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm more active in the situation.
Poacher.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, like, so I've been following you on Twitter. I dead name tech companies. I've been following you on Twitter for like I feel like years. And you are like, or I don't know if it's still the case with the marriage thing, but like you've been like publicly horny on Maine or like publicly thirst trapping for a long time.
Yes.
And like every time that stuff pops up on my feed, I go like, that's a brave man. Because I don't feel like we get to do that.
I mean,
Unless we're like Michael B. Jordan, we're just like doing the one thing where we lift up the shirt to show off abs.
The abs, sure. I mean, I feel like that's sort of. I've struggled with body image my entire adult life, and I think one of the ways that I cope with that and work through a lot of those things is to like push myself super hard in the other direction and like sort of forcibly embrace my body and sexuality and just sort of declare myself like an object of sexual desire, even if I don't feel like sometimes I am or deserve to be. Sometimes it helps to just jump off the cliff of that and be like, yes, I am. And don't let myself, don't let the voices tell me, all the negative things before it's too late. And then I just hit post anyway,
Yeah. And then, and oftentimes like we'll see people, I mean, I had the same mentality when I like started doing an OnlyFans like 4 years ago. Was the same thing, was like, I'm gonna do it. And then like when there was a dollar number that I could attach to this body, I was like, I can keep hating my body if I want to, but I do now have to respect it because it paid like the rent, right? So I also have had a similar thing where I just like that, just put it out there. I may not love it that day, but other people seem to love it. I think they have bad taste, but like they love it. Good for them.
I mean, yeah.
We put some more boners out there into the world by hitting the post button.
It's a good deed, I think. I think it's kind of what you just said, where we don't all have to be, insert male celebrity. I've had people, I've met followers in the real world who say things like that they feel encouraged to like embrace their sexuality and feel more empowered to, view themselves as a sexual object because they see someone like me do it.
And guys, like, we don't really have like a lot of those like good examples for, I guess, like the non-traditional celebrity body type, that we grew up with. I feel like the guy body positivity movement is like 5 to 8 years behind the women's. Not that's a problem. Just I feel like that's like kind of we're just back a bit. We're like back around like 2015 with what's going on. I feel like we're finally having like there are finally people posting on Maine that they also sometimes like a thicker guy.
Yeah,
which the reason I never thought people liked it was because no one was posting saying it. Every time they would say it in private.
Sure.
They'd be like, no, I like a big guy. Or on a Reddit thread, it'd be like from a throwaway handle. But it's like, why can't you claim me on Maine? And then, so it's like, that's what I needed to see. Because otherwise, I always thought like I was going to have to be funny. I always thought it was like my personality that I was going to do. I was like, the eyes will do some heavy lifting to get me in the door.
Sure.
But like, it's going to be the personality that seals the deal. It was like, I'm not like ugly. It was just like, I always thought that, because of my body, I'm going to have to like be funny or rich, right? Like that's what I always thought it was. You had to be Seth Rogen or you had to like have a ton of money.
Sure. A phrase I did not make up, but say all the time is that there's a lid for every pot.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I felt the same way where like, I was like, there's just no way I'm someone's type. Like that can't exist, But I was so wrong. I happened to meet the person whose exact type was like short, hobbit-like Jewish men.
Okay, hobbit type after the makeover. Like you got the haircut, you got the beard trimmed
cute
nice.
hobbit, but like,
yeah.
Small,
I don't imagine
stocky.
the feet are like too hairy, right? It's
No, very delicate feet. But no, that's his exact type. He's like short, Semitic men, and he found the best one,
How long y'all been together?
6.5 years.
And did you date much or hook up much before that?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't have too many serious relationships before him. Certainly a lot of,
Fun.
casual
Yeah.
sex and such.
And would you like take that? Were you able to take that as confirmation? Like, I must be cute. Because again, like also a lot of casual stuff, a lot of sex, but like not a lot of the serious relationships. So I was like, well, I can't use, like, I always thought it was like, the personality is like, I always thought that I look like, I don't know if I want to fuck that guy, but like, I might want to date that guy. Let me talk to him first. That was always how I thought. It's like you were getting some.
I definitely was, but there were enough rejections and like, so to give me enough of a complex where, like the negative self-talk was pretty loud. I would say, I'm trying to think of it, being short is such a obstacle for some guys. And I was trying to, in my mind just now, sort of measure, like, if I think it's harder for a straight guy or a gay guy to be short. And I think probably a straight guy, it's harder. Still not easy. It's not smooth sailing as a gay guy either.
Are there like specific challenges that like short gay guys have?
You just get
like, do you get
written off.
pigeonholed into a certain role maybe?
Oh, I mean, that's a whole other topic. You know, trying to be an actor who's short is also really, really hard. But like trying to date and like find someone that's.
Oh, I meant like a sexual. Or I meant like if there's a role, like pigeonholed into a role within hookups. But there's also that.
I heard role, and
you were just like industry.
Like,
Are they listening?
I mean, yes. I think for a long time I thought. I mean, I am primarily a bottom, but for a long time, like I didn't even consider that there could be any alternative to that because of how small I am. I have, since learned that that's not true. It's like this thing that gets you disqualified before you even start in some places.
It's like whoever I am, that won't matter because I won't even get to show you the resume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like on the apps and stuff, like I always made sure my height was like super clearly denoted. Like even if like I had to write it like not just in the stats, but like in the, description or whatever.
And that's even if they read because, men, not big fans of reading.
Oh, no. People do not read. Can confirm. I was sick of, people finding that out and being like, nope. So it was like, I want to just make sure if someone started to talk to me, they like already, that was out of the way and, they were already on board.
I feel like even more than like I think more than weight, I think more than like hair, I think height is like this. I see when I look around online, like it seems to be this huge pain point for dudes when it comes to like their dating lives.
In terms of the way people talk about bodies and the way like it's become, I feel like less and less okay to broadcast things like I'm not interested in someone who is this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's because, you're not allowed and you shouldn't be allowed to.
Height still seems to be this acceptable thing.
It's something you're allowed to say, like if you're under this height, not a chance. Like that's still that's still societally accepted as something you're allowed to just broadcast.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you felt sexy? If not a moment, a time in your life.
Well, I mean, I definitely remember in high school, like when I sort of exited my awkward phase, and it sort of like in tandem went along with my coming out of the closet, where I was, started to care more about my appearance and how I dressed and everything. And I mean, obviously, looking back now, I feel like I looked ridiculous, but at the time, I started to feel pretty good about myself. And I was, as many of us were, like pretty thin and like twinky back then. So, I got definitely a lot of attention from probably people that I shouldn't have been getting attention from. But at the time, I was like, wow, I must be pretty hot shit.
Yeah. Okay. And that it's interesting because like and I don't mean this in any sort of way like you're like I had an expectation you're not like meeting. It's just more I'm surprised to not like get this like loud, brash, braggadocious like personality based on like what I would have like seen online and someone who posts what you post.
So what did you think I was going to be like?
The voice tracks. I think I was I think I thought like, oh, like he might be like real brash, full of himself, be like, yes, I'm a fucking hot piece of ass, and that's why I'm putting it out there on the internet. And so it's interesting to see like a more the more vulnerable, self-conscious version of you. Because I would imagine that your other followers also would be like, whoa, I wouldn't think that he has insecurities about the body that he's always posting.
I mean, honestly, I think that's part of the like self-protective armor that I've built around myself, which I think social media is part of.
Yeah.
Because it's fake and it's like you get to sort of curate this version of yourself that you want the world to see. The version of myself that I want the world to see is someone that is very confident in their body and feels desirable and knows they are.
Yeah. You've accomplished that. I think that's what you do.
Thanks.
I mean, you've ruined it by doing this, but like you were previously doing a great job of putting that out there.
Well, I think then I'm happy to ruin it then, because I want, if anyone listens to this and is thinking, he posts, some slutty photos. I wish I could do that. I'm here to tell you that you can.
You can. Tell me a bit about these, like the princess vibes. This, or I don't know if you would call it princess personality that you say you have had since you were a kid.
I mean, I'm very and have always been pretty femme, and there have been a lot of the ways I've expressed myself since I was a tiny, tiny little child have been very femme, and I was encouraged, and my parents were very, accepting of that. When I got to choose my Halloween costume, and I, as like a 3-year-old, and I wanted to be Tinkerbell, they were like, "Great, let's do that."
Yeah,
yeah. So it was always, those were always the types of things that I wanted. And I would always want to paint my nails, and yeah. So that's just sort of always been sort of intrinsically part of me. I started doing musical theater so young.
Okay.
So I sort of found my area of where I was safe, You
didn't try to fit in, you just found the safe place to be.
I found the safe place to be, yeah. I don't know. I had a smoother time, I think, than a lot of people did. So I'm grateful. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that many gay kids like of my same age, but I knew gay people that were older than me, and I saw like what was possible on the other side. I had role models. Like I had people that I could look at and be like, oh, they're the greatest, and like they're thriving.
You had elders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you express the princess vibes also a lot with the fingernails. When did that start? This is a lot, and this is just a Sunday.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, people will see me in the wild and be like, oh, "Do you do drag? Like, do you perform? Do you do shows?" A lot of times they say, "Do you do shows?" And I'm always like, "What? Like, what kind? Like, what do you have to be more specific." And then I realize, no, they're talking about drag because look at these. And the answer is no. This is just how I live my life.
Yeah. I sometimes will wear glitter, just cause, but like I'll get that fucking thing too, and I'll be dressed like shit, like because I dress bad. I'm not good. I'm a bad dresser.
But with glitter.
I'll be in jeans and a fucking raggedy Jets t-shirt, and like I'll have a real good, nice like ring around the eye, and then I'll be on the subway, and then people will be like, they'll be like, why the glitter? And I'll be like, I just fucking want to wear glitter.
Why not?
Why can't I wear glitter? What? Do I gotta have Ben's voice to be allowed to wear glitter in this world? What's wrong? What the fuck? Can't a man just want to feel a little fabulous today? Why are you all trying to stomp on my sunshine? And who doesn't that? Chicks on the subway. They just go like, I love your glitter. I say, I love your bag. No one raped anybody. It was a great day. No one had to be scared of anybody. It's
honestly great.
It's very disarming.
That's how life should be.
What's like the most outlandish nail design you've done?
I'm really into 3D stuff.
I see there's like... It's like I'm looking at like a really well done like brownie, like where they like we're gonna take some icing and do some shit with it.
It's kind of like that. You sort of bake them in a similar way. But no, what I was sort of talking about before of the sort of self-protective armor that I have built around myself. Obviously, like non-physically, I was talking about social media, but my nails are a sort of physical manifestation of that.
Okay.
When I feel bad about myself, or I feel, when the negative voices are loud, and I'm telling myself, I'm not good enough, or I forget who I am a little bit. I forget what makes me in those moments. I can just look at my fingers, and I'm like, oh, there she is. Like,
Yep.
I know, that's who you are.
And I have to keep saying, but this and now with The Rock, and be like, I am a princess. I got a prince, and I got a princess, and
Exactly. It's like when I forget that I am sparkling, I can still I can look and be like, oh,
so much sparkle
I'm
on
sparkling.
that one hand. Does he have like a wedding band, or does he have like a ring like your kind of like yours too?
His is a band. It's
Like
gold.
band. Okay.
It's pretty cool. It has like it's not like perfectly round. It's sort of like a knife's edge.
Oh, okay.
So it's still kind of futuristic. We're pretty space agey as a couple.
Yeah.
And mine's obviously more like intergalactic. I don't know, warrior princess or something.
Yeah.
High priestess or something. I don't know.
It's like, are you listening, industry? Very castable hands. Will come with his own nails done. It saves money. This is good for the bottom line.
I know. I keep trying to like brace myself. I mean, obviously, I'd be happy to if I were to book something and they were like, you can't have these nails. I'd be happy to remove them, but it will be in a bit of an emotional moment.
Your manager should be sending you out for everything space agey or in the future. Have Hunger Games, all the Hunger Games shit.
Yeah.
Be like, it's very capital. You could totally be a capital character.
That's, you know what? You're so right. We're big Star Trek fans, and there's always new Star Trek series being developed. And, some cunty alien species that where like everyone looks like has nails like this, have like claws. Let's do it.
The further we get away from planet Earth is like the less gender matters, just like let's get that going on. Let's confuse some people.
Yeah.
Let's
There's
make
definitely
Pittsburgh
a planet.
go what?
There's definitely a planet where everyone's fingers look like this.
Yeah.
I think somewhere.
I mean, oh my God, flashback. Wow. I'm just having flashback. The first woman who did finger me had nails like that, maybe just a pinch longer. And I was like, it didn't hurt, but I was 19, terrified. She was 40. I was 19. I was terrified. We've been drinking. I know her precision is not going to be 100%. I was terrified. I was like never more scared, like bit by bit as it went in. I was like, please know what you're doing. Please know what you're doing.
That's really brave. I don't
Was
think
it
I would
brave
want
or
that.
shamelessly horny? I don't know. I was 19.
You're like, I don't care what happens.
I was just like, yeah, let's just go for it. I don't know. It's like, will she stop blowing me if I don't let her do that? So let's just see where the ride takes us. But yeah, wow, I haven't thought about that in a very long time.
I'm so happy I could bring back that memory for you.
Anytime, my asshole just clenched real hard.
Which, with one of these in there, bad news.
No, yeah. Look, the only person who like caused damage back there did not have nails like that, so I know that that's certainly not the thing to be worried about. But it's also why I keep my nails trimmed all the time. I am never trying to. Guys, trim your fucking nails. What are you doing? Do you ever see like dudes with like dirt, not just dirty nails, but they're like kind of like overgrown and there's so much dirt in there. And it's like, what woman lets you put that in her?
That's indicative of just like a general lack of care, Like, yeah, I wouldn't want that. And like entering any part of me,
right? And some of y'all have seen me. I'm not like a clean, put together guy. No one looks at me and goes, he's hygienic and like has a night care routine. No one looks at me and thinks that. I still trim my fucking nails. You never know when the opportunity to finger someone in the bathroom is going to present itself.
It's just good manners.
Yes, it's good manners.
Or if you look like, if you have nails like me, you just know that fingering someone is off the table. And that is a sacrifice. I know that's a choice I make in my life.
I asked this question to ask about the thirst traps, but so now do y'all do the monogamy thing? The way your frow just furrowed.
It's like sort of. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's.
It sounds like a no.
We're like open in theory, but like not super in practice. I think we're just mostly pretty lazy.
That's common.
Like we're so comfortable and happy with each other that like the effort of like going to find other people to fuck, sometimes it's a level of energy I don't always have.
Absolutely. It sounds like it's nice to know you have the option, but it's not like you want to use it. You just want to know you could.
I think that's a good way to put it. If opportunity arises, I think we'd both be like, great.
Yeah.
but we're pretty chill.
Well, I asked that to ask, like, does he so it sounded like maybe the answer would be no, but like, when you started posting those kinds of photos online, did he have any like feelings about that, or did he say like, hey, I don't like this, you're fucking posting that ass on the internet or whatever? Or like, hey, Ben, put it, fucking buddy, put your shirt on. That's my chest hair. And you ever get possessive?
No. I know he's not possessive. I think there definitely were conversations about like what my goals were doing that, like why, or like the reasoning behind doing that. So I think it became clear pretty quick that the practice of, sort of sexualizing myself doesn't really have anything to do with like whether or not I get enough validation at home, and it's not like this external thing. It's actually an internal thing. Yeah. That's how part of how I am constructing self-esteem around my body and desirability.
Yeah. Well, Ben, are you being sexualized enough at home?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy for you then. Good.
I'm just trying to think like, where, like I was saying, it's not about, okay, yes, it is. It is about this sort of objective, like if a stranger is sexualizing you who knows nothing about you,
right,
then it's only about the way you look.
Exactly that, yes.
And that is a type of validation that, one, I can't get from my husband, and two, I don't want from my husband.
Right.
He loves and knows every single cell of my being, and that's the type of love I want from my husband.
Yeah.
Occasionally I want to maybe, well, no, I was going to say like be looked at as a piece of meat by my husband, but then I'm like, do I? I guess like a little bit, but okay. Mostly there's this very specific type of validation that from, a stranger that like is just different.
100%. That's what I was talking about earlier with just like, I want to know that you would fuck me even if like I didn't have a great I think, I used to do this when I was talking about weight loss on stage. It would be like, my goal is like, I just want the type of body where I don't need to have a good personality. Being an asshole, that's my goal weight, right? But like, I still want to be a nice guy. I just want women to be shocked when I am.
We didn't ask to be born in this society. We didn't ask to be part of this society where like sound
like Doug Stanhope. Okay.
It's like we just wound up here, whether we liked it or not. So we just are in a society where people's attractiveness is valued and applauded more loudly than anything else.
Yeah.
So it's not our fault that we have only lived and seen and grown up interpreting those signals, so we want it too.
But then the thing is, when we say stuff like, especially like when we're public people like you and I, and we say like, I just want strangers to sexualize me, and then the problem is when certain strangers sexualize you, it's like then the DMs start getting weird, which leads to a question that a listener have. I have a patron only channel in the Discord server, the Champagne Room. Y'all should be in there, and Patreon members can ask any question to any guest. If it's a good question, I wish it was mine. If it's a bad question, it wasn't my idea. But Chuck did want to know, what is the weirdest DM that you've gotten after posting like a really hot photo, and or is that like an issue you feel like you got to deal with sometimes?
I do think knowing your own boundaries is really important. So I'm going to be honest, a lot of times I don't read unsolicited DMs.
I think it did take a minute to get like a response from you. Yes, I can confirm everybody.
Not that because they're all weird, just it's like a self-protection type of thing. To be honest, the ones that I am most off-put by are unsolicited nudes.
Yeah.
I think you should ask first.
Yeah.
I think consent is a thing we need to talk about. So, yeah, I think those are the DMs where I'm like, it's an immediate no.
Mm-hmm. How is an appropriate way for people to reach out or compliment you on said public thirst traps? What are some examples? What are some how-tos? What are tips, some do's, don'ts you would want to tell people of, look, when you see me looking hot online, here's the appropriate way to say something about it. Here's the things to avoid.
Any response that's complimentary is so welcome and appreciated, and I think with words,
Words, okay, that's a good start.
you don't replying or DMs that are just immediate photos, I think it's just a little aggressive. But no, yeah, any sort of positive affirmations, please, more than welcome. Because I mean, like I said, that is sort of the point, is you wanting to be viewed a certain way.
Yeah, but do you want people to just comment like, yeah, I want to tear that ass up? Or would you rather them say like, oh, that ass looks real juicy today, sir?
If I had to choose, probably the second one. But,
So you're like, no, Billy, I would rather them say, I really want to tear that ass up, sir.
please.
Please, may I tear said ass up if it would be convenient for you and allowable within the structure of your marriage.
Great.
But then, so many words. We really lost the brevity.
There are character limits, I understand.
I think something I'll sometimes say is like, send a DM that you would want to get. Like that you think like would be
DM unto others as you would do unto yourself.
Yes, that is the 13th commandment. That was it. I tell that to women sometimes because like I think they forget that rules apply to them too. And my weird spicy brain that insists on things being like just and right sometimes overpowers my like want to like hook up with someone. So like a hot chick will just send like an unsolicited nude, and then I'll be like, you should have asked first, even though it's a great nude. She's really hot. And I'm like, these are great tits. But I'd be like, I just want to feel respect. I want to feel like we're all playing by the same rules here. So, yeah. But it sounds like I'm glad you're not getting overrun with too much filth in the DMs. But that is what Czech, wanted to know. And lastly, I would say, like, how do you, I guess, like, what are ways that, your husband sexualizes you at home in a way that like keeps the spice alive and things being sexy? You've been married now for a year and a half. You've been together like a good chunk of years, 6-7 years, you said, right? Like You've been together. So like that's a time where people start going like, how do we keep things alive? How do we keep both the love and the sexy part spicy?
I think something like a really big part of that is when you know someone so intimately and their personality and their insecurities and confidences, like like what they are proud of, what they're insecure about. A way to to sexualize someone in the way that makes them feel both sexy but also seen and loved has to do with highlighting the right things, and I think my husband does a really good job of gauging where I am and like how I'm feeling about my body, how I'm feeling about one part of my body, and sort of tailoring his compliments or his
like what was the last, like, do you remember like one of the last of those compliments he gave you that you were like, that hit right, that's what I needed today?
Like there are many times that come to mind where I put on an outfit that I think is really cute, or because it shows off something that I'm trying to show off, and I'll be looking in the mirror, and then he'll see me looking in the mirror and be like, your ass looks so good, like just like he knows that's what I want to hear. Okay. But I know he's genuine about it.
He doesn't say it just because you're funny.
No.
No.
I think we found each other because we were each other's type physically, and we stayed together because we were funny. Like that's why we're.
Is he funny
here.
too?
He is funny. I mean,
you said he's like a little reserved. So is he like the straight man to your?
I definitely am. I mean, as you might assume, more theatrical of a person than he is. But we have very similar senses of humor. That's something that brought us together. Is like the types of TV shows and stuff that we think are funny. Like we're very aligned.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, well, like the original one about like the compliments and stuff. You were just like, yeah, oh, your ass looks great in that. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more, flowery, but hey, that works if it hits right.
The number one question I ask someone when like a friend or family member, anyone who's starting a new relationship and they're like, oh, it's going really well, I really like this person, the first question I always ask is, are you laughing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes it's the only question I ask. Like, I just think that's the most important and indicative quality to someone that like you could be long term with is like when you're doing nothing in the moments of boredom, like, just mundane life.
In between the sex, we got to do something.
Are you laughing?
Yeah.
Is it fun? Is it funny?
Yeah. And 34 years from now, when we might be fucking a little less, it's like, can we keep each other laughing? I feel like that's what's going to keep us alive.
Yeah.
Unless you're like my grandparents. It's like, do you yell at each other just the exact right amount? That will also kind of keep you going, apparently. Good blood flow circulation when you get that going on. But, I'm glad you found your prince. I'm glad he found such a princess vibe. And, thanks for coming on. It's nice to finally meet you in person and, keep making me fucking laugh online. You're going to keep me alive.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Ben, where can people go to find you, follow you, check out the fucking nails?
My @ is just my name, Ben Yahr, BenYahr, on Twitter or Instagram. And every time I get a new manicure, which is very frequent, I will be posting it. So for nail content, you will not be starved. Trust me.
Yeah, and I know they probably thought like, oh, like this is another comic, but I'll do this in the intro. But it's like you describe you're an actor. Your website says a lip syncer.
Yeah, I'm just sort of a theater kid, an
goofball
actor who fell into internet content.
Yeah.
As an outlet and as a, somewhere to express myself and feel good about myself.
Are you doing the TikTok?
I don't.
You don't? Have you taken a stand? Is that what's going on?
I didn't I wasn't intentionally trying to take a stand, but I just sort of at one point declared myself too old. And I was like, I just don't think that's something I need to try to master. And I haven't.
We're like the same age, right? I mean, look, casting directors, plug your ears. Plug your ear. No earmuffs. Okay, Jocelyn, good job. You're like what, like early 30s, mid 30s, late 20s?
About to turn. How old do you think I am?
I'm assuming I've taken that we're like in the same age.
I'm about to turn 35.
Me too. Wait, when's your birthday?
June 26th.
June 5th.
Oh my God. Hey,
all
girl.
right. Hey, what's going on? Elder. No. Wait, but if it's not Gemini, then what's
Cancer.
You're a Cancer. Okay. I'm dating a chick right now who fucking the chart. Okay, I literally listened for 45 minutes the first time. Did my whole chart, and I was like, I put the mic down,
just
like,
smiling and
if you believe in this, that's great. And it's like, especially if it's when our charts align. Oh, I believe in that too. All of a sudden, you're like, it did say I was going to meet someone soon. I'm like, yep, no, the astrology works all of a sudden when it benefits me.
Exactly. That's what I'm always like. If I read my horoscope, I'm always like, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no. But it's
all real.
My God.
Yeah. It's almost like religion. Let's pick and choose which parts we want to believe in. Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I thought anywhere you could have been like late, like a 28, or you could have been like maybe like a pinch older than me, but just like you have the young skin because I don't moisturize. And so,
yes, I'm a very youthful 35.
Well, I mean, bitch, this is a youthful age. We're still young. Top of my head's not, but like we're still young. So, thank you again for coming on, man. And it's nice to meet you. Why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to anything I said. I hope I made you feel, seen and encouraged to post your own thirst traps.
Yeah. Oh, wait. One last brief question. We'll end with this, but just you can answer as brief for as long as you want. But 69ing,
Do you ask everyone that?
I'm trying to remember to.
Oh, okay.
It's like I've been doing this 10 years. It's like I want to end the show differently.
I say yes.
We got a yes. All right, everybody. Take care. The The best place to discuss your thoughts on this week's show is in the episode discussion channel in the Champagne Room. The Champagne Room is our super free, super fun, super sex positive Discord server. That is free to join. It costs no money to make hundreds and hundreds of new friends to talk about dating, wellness, movies, fashion, and yes, gather some occasional sex toy recommendations. Introduce yourself today, share your thoughts about this week's show, tell us a fun story, jump into some discussions at manwhorepod.com/Discord. And do you want to join us for a hot movie night tomorrow night? Well, we're going to be watching this fun movie, The Private Afternoons of Pamela Mann. You do need to be a Patreon member for access to that channel. And you can gain access at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Hope to hear you there. You can always email me your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your stories to manwhorepod@gmail.com. You just might hear it on the show. And merch, folks. I just went through my trunk this weekend and re-inventoried the merch. Got a lot of pegging t-shirts. I still got a good chunk of Stay Slutty panties, as well as a slew of buttons and stickers. Oh my. I even found some duffel bags from ManwhorCon 2019. I think I've got like 4 of those left. I got to throw them up on the site. manwhorepod.com for all your Man Whore podcast needs, including some sweet, sweet merch. Next week, y'all will hear my conversation with Kyle Prue. Makes a lot of TikTokies about how to piss off men. We got along quite well. Until then, make some real life connections. Get any potential disappointment out of the way. Stay slutty.